Good morning, Roxanne. Always first on the draw. Yes, and thank you for bringing out my brooms. Greatly appreciated. I think it was CPL much good, no? Right, there we go. Good morning, Diane. Blessings to you as well. Pamela Moses, good morning. Good morning, Anon 001. Rena Jennings, good morning to you. Neil Francois, good morning to you, sir, and a happy birthday. I see that today is your birthday, so I trust that you would have a very enjoyable and memorable one. Morning, Carol, His Excellency, the President of Pleasantville, Nigel O'Connor, First Lady Marcia Kagan. Good morning, Kenneth Gabriel, Judy King, Fayola Rudder. Morning, Ashlyn Robertson. Morning to you, Annette Hunt, Jermaine Superville. Morning. Kathy Ann Best. Morning, Pauline Buckmeyer. Good morning to all of you guys. Istra Blake. Morning, Sarah Richards. Yes, live from Florida. Yes, Pauline. Every time I see your post that, I get a little antsy about my trip. Tell you, yes, soon come. Deborah Durante, morning. Philomena Collins, good morning to you. And Nicole Graves, morning to you as well. Morning, Angie. I haven't seen Angie's name pop up, but yeah. Haven't heard from Angie in a while, but yeah, I'll give her a call. Good morning to Mother Tunapuna. To Aaron says heavy double down on the Seabridge ferry situation. Is that right? I didn't see that clip. I'll probably have to go and pull it back. Poor soul. Karen Gaspard, good morning. Julian Parker, good morning. Leonard Harris, Angela Carty, morning to you. Demetri McEwen, good morning. Patriot, good morning to you. Oh, Ian Tamarack, Pauline, okay. Yeah, I'll be in Coral Springs, Stone's Throw away. Rookman Gangadine, good morning to you. I don't think I've seen Rookman's name before. So welcome. Or it may have been there and I probably missed it. So many people. Right. Let's see. So it's 11:03. Yeah. A million and 10 things to do today. So let's get into it. Right. Gemma Alexander, morning to you. Ian Michael Clouden, morning. You know, I thought I would noise across my neighbors. So I guess there's a signal match on this morning. The boss Constantine, good morning. So just, as usual, just a couple of things to touch on today. I just tuned into the UNC's Waste of Time Sunday morning press conference, and I did so because I saw that Rudal Monilal, in a newspaper article a couple of days ago, promised that he would reveal the real with respect to this issue that he continues to pursue relentlessly about Stuart Young handing in a legal licensed firearm to the police. Whether we want to use the word donated or surrendered or whatever it is, that he, Stuart Young, of his own volition, took a decision to donate a firearm to the police service. And there seems to be no end of concern or let up from the UNC, in particular, Rudal Monilal of this matter. There's no when there is no there. When an issue is really a non-issue by the UNC, you see when there's only one person pursuing it, when there's only one of them talking about it all the time, that's how you know it have nothing there. So Monilal is the only person keep choking that, and I don't know what it is he expects to come out of it, but he's going to reveal the name of the police officer to whom Mr. Young would have delivered the firearm and the name of the specialist unit to whom the firearm was delivered. I don't know what difference that would make. At the end of the day, Mr. Young didn't sell the firearm. He didn't give it to somebody who is not authorized to have it. He turned it into the TTPS. Now, you see, again, the UNC trying to create a narrative when none exists in the face of, and it's unfortunate that when we have so many other positive things to talk about in the country, this is the only thing they could, this is the only thing that they could talk about. So he pushing this gun thing, right? I was hoping that he would speak first, so that I could have commented on what it is he said. But unfortunately, he gave way to David Lee, whose 26-minute contribution and nothing was received. So David Lee, before I get back to Monilal, the last thing I heard, because I just tuned in, the last thing I heard him talk about was they're now criticizing the parkade that was recently completed in San Fernando, which is just one aspect or one element of the greater development thrust in San Fernando as part of the whole San Fernando waterfront project. So Port of Spain has its waterfront project that has been around for more than 10 years, well, more than 15 years, so thereabouts. 2008, 2000. So you're looking at about close to 14, 15 years. Yeah, so San Fernando now, the city of San Fernando is now in the process of getting its own waterfront project, which would change the skyline of San Fernando and improve the availability of services and so on for the people of San Fernando, right? The car park or the parkade certainly is something that is needed, because for years I've been hearing people complain about the car park for the San Fernando General Hospital. Especially during the rainy season, it is a hellhole. In fact, I have seen videos of even 4x4 vehicles when rainfall and in this car park with all this mud catching the tail to come out. And now a parkade has been completed so that it could facilitate parking for persons who have to visit the San Fernando General Hospital. So this perennial complaint about the hospital car park, it's inadequate, it's in a mess, and frustrating people should come to an end, of course, provided that people may wish to avail themselves of the car park. Now, I believe it may be, I'm not sure which it should be, it may be a car park where you have to pay, but given the fact that visiting hours, I think, is usually about, what, 1 hour? So you probably would just, if you're using the car park for the purpose of visiting anybody in the hospital, then quite likely probably about an hour stay. But I don't know what the rates are. But again, it is a contribution to the upkeep of the car park, because maintenance is always a big problem in Trinidad and Tobago, especially when it comes to state-owned premises. So we have the parkade in Port of Spain operating just opposite the immigration building, the immigration tower, and not too far from the Office of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs government campus. And it has been operating very well for years. In fact, it is well used. The couple of times that I have used that facility, whenever I go in there, sometimes I may have to go up at least 2 levels to be able to find a parking space. So you have spaces that people actually pay for the entire month, and that assists with the upkeep of the car park. So it takes away from the government having to budget for that purpose. But for years we've had car parkades. Nibdek has had car parks all over Port of Spain. Down where Riverside Plaza is across with the road there, there's a car park there, which I think a portion of it is now used to house persons who may be homeless. You have there's the one by opposite Central Bank, by TSTT's head office there, and other parts of Port of Spain. You have that. So that is the situation. But David Lee is criticizing the parkade, claiming the government spends so much money, and that is what they call in development. And then he decides to do a comparison to see that when they were in office, when the UNC was in office, PP, they built, and I stress on the word built, they built a teaching hospital. And that the purpose of that teaching hospital was to increase, the amount of nurses and all of these different things. And I'm saying, what utter rubbish. You all didn't build any hospital. You didn't build any hospital. That was a building that was constructed by Patrick Manning and the PNM that was supposed to be part again of the development thrust in San Fernando, similar to what obtained in Port of Spain. So that was the start of the redevelopment of San Fernando. So it started under Patrick Manning. So for them to come now and criticize us for the PNM do nothing and whatnot and all of this foolishness, and they built a teaching hospital, you all converted what was supposed to be an office complex into a hospital, an extension of the San Fernando hospital. They didn't build nothing. But I don't know if it is these people need a dictionary because they don't understand the meaning of the word built. Because I just having a little exchange here with one of them by the name of Ron Soa on Facebook here, and he's telling me that the UNC built the Arima Hospital and the UNC built the Port of Spain, the Point Fortin Hospital. I fed up have that discussion with them. The UNC did not build any Arima Hospital. They didn't build any Point Fortin Hospital. The sword was turned for the Arima Hospital on the 7th of May, 2050. Exactly 4 months to the date of the election, which was September 7th. The sword was turned for the Point Fortin Hospital on the 21st of May, 2 weeks after they turned sword for the Arima Hospital. On the 21st of May, 3 months and 2 weeks before the general election. So unless these two hospitals are prefab, I don't see how the hell the UNC could have built a whole hospital in 4 months, because after you turn sword, it's not that they come the next day and start construction. So in the same way, in Point Fortin, it's not your turn sword today and then the next day, the whole construction team show up on the construction site and start to build. No construction started on either of those facilities before the 7th of May, 2050. None was started. In fact, when this administration came in, they had to retender both of those projects, in addition to others. And an Austrian company by the name of Vamed would have won the bid, and they were the ones who would have financed those two hospitals, and they were also supposed to do the same thing with the Sangre Grande Hospital, which is also under construction, right? So when it is the supporters of that party come to tell you that, and even the leadership of the party continues to lie and come on the platform and say they built Arima Hospital and they built Point. You didn't build any hospital, turning sword. Now if it is here, the only hospital you could have built by turning sword, you could build a hospital for ants, no problem. But you see, it reminds me of terrestrial lands. When it is that Munilal told us there were some 1,200 houses ready for occupation. And when the media went there, the only thing they found on terrestrial lands that they paid $200 million for that piece of land. $200 million for terrestrial estate. When the media went there, all they found was a load of gravel, a load of sand, and tobacco. So again, I don't know if they were building house for ants and bachak, and so therefore the 1,200 homes were ready for the ants and the bachak and other insects, but there were no houses for human habitation on the terrestrial land site. Today, there are houses there. Hundreds of houses built over the last 8 years on terrestrial lands, and houses continue to be built on that site by the People's National Movement under the leadership of Keith Christopher Rowley. So if the media goes today, they will see houses there that were not there when this administration came in September of 2015. Hundreds of houses there. All right? So miss us with this BS about all you built. You didn't build any teaching hospital, but they continue to mislead the population, and their support base continues to lap up this lie and this foolishness and come on social media and embarrass themselves by telling us that the UNC built this. They're so starved for some to hold on to claim infrastructure development. So starved for it that they're willing to lie. Even the Aranguez interchange, which started under Patrick Manning, and then the elections was called, the PNM lost the election, and when the UNC came in, they would have completed the interchange project at Grand Bazaar and the one at Aranguez. So it finished under them. And we saw evidence. We know that there were several phases of the Grand Bazaar interchange that started under the PNM and opened under the PNM. So it's not that the PNM turned sword and saying they built anything. We saw, right? The traffic lights and everything were removed. We saw the coming together of the interchange parts and all of these things. So all of that was already in place. The roundabout down by Arthur Lockjack there, all of these things had already taken place when the People's Partnership came in 2010. They simply completed it, but want to lay claim for the Aranguez interchange to say they built that. Dishonesty to the hilt. Dishonesty to the hilt, and that is why they could come and say they built 106 schools, when in fact they came into office in 2010 and found a number of these schools, whether it be early childhood care centers or secondary schools or primary schools, that were already under construction and it was completed under them, or perhaps construction had just started, so it was in the early phases for a lot of these projects. It was completed under them, so they had to do nothing in terms of finding funding or tendering or nothing. These are things that the PNM did. It was already in train. Foundation had already been laid. Blocks had already started to go up when they came into office, and it was completed under them. And they lay claim to it and said they built it. They built it. And that is why Anthony Garcia, former Minister of Education, was able to rubbish in May of 2019 the contribution of his predecessor, Tim Gopi Singh, when he got up in the parliament to try and claim we built this and we built that. And Anthony Garcia had to embarrass him with hardcore evidence, documentation provided to him from the Ministry of Education to show when these projects started, the state that they were in, the state of completion, when the People's Partnership came into 2010. And there was no response from the opposition bench after Anthony Garcia. Other than to say, well, yeah, well, we finish it. And it's only crosstalk. But none of the speakers who followed will get up and tell Anthony Garcia, you're telling untruths. And want to know where he get the document from. From the ministry. You're supposed to know that, Gopi Singh. But that is what they did, the dishonesty. So in their attempt now to pour scorn and cold water on the development projects of this government, because they realize going forward, they are going to start to see a lot more infrastructure projects being completed. And we ain't going to see, well, we would be seeing some sword tuning, but we would be seeing more ribbon cutting and more unveiling of plaques, as a lot of these infrastructure projects that would have been started over the last 5 years, 8 years, and so on, come to completion. And the PNM now would have an entire dossier of projects that they could lay claim to that far surpasses anything that the People's Partnership and by extension the UNC has done in the 11 years. So all those who like to say the UNC do more in 11 years than the PNM did, well, they can't decide 44 years, 49 years, 51 years, 60 years, all kind of different figures they call it, right? So I saw, before I come back to Munila, CNC put out an article this morning with respect to the next phase of the Point Fortin Highway. So let me see if I get it here. So another leg. Just now, let me see if I get this here. Right. Right. So CNC3, let me get it. From tomorrow, commuters traveling between Point Fortin and San Fernando can expect the journey to be 25 minutes shorter, as the Ministry of Works and Transport will open another portion of the Solomon Hochoy Highway extension. That is good news. They will open another portion. Now, if memory serves me correct, this is the second portion that this administration will be opening, right? And they didn't take $7 billion from the Treasury in order to build that, right? Let me give you some of the comments of the supporters of the UNC. So, just so, Ron Soba says, how long did this road feel? Well, yes, this guy by the name of Ron Soba, he's another one. So they're complaining. The government took 8 years to complete 100 kilometers or so of highway, and the People's Partnership did it in 5. This government didn't take $7 billion from the Treasury to avoid scrutiny from a financing agency, right? They would have utilized that service. This government, unlike the PP, didn't have to, the distraction of having to file a civil suit against any company that was hired by the predecessor to get back $1 billion that the predecessor tried to take away from the citizens of this country through underhanded means by removing a clause from the contract that would have prevented the country from being able to get back that money. This government had to fight that, you see? So all the obstacles that this administration has had to face in the last 8 years with respect to progressing that project, the PP didn't have to do that. In fact, that's the legacy that the PP left. Problems for this government to fix, right? So $7 billion in cash taken out of the Treasury in order to be able to facilitate this, right? So they don't have the scrutiny of the IADB, so we have nobody to come to, so we could thief. That is why you had so many persons whose lands were acquired and who got extra money. Five members of a household, or everybody receiving compensation for the one property. That kind of foolishness, but they wouldn't talk about that, right? So you have some people here who are seeing the light, but again, it's not only the leadership of the UNC that is a threat to this country, right? It appears that the supporters, far more so, are also a danger. Because when it is you have development taking place, and the only thing they could do is to look for the negative, to talk about how long it takes, and it's 8 years, and the government this and right. Nothing positive, but there's a whole set of comments. Good morning to Daniel next. I saw Daniel would have engaged them as well. But complaint after complaint, how long it takes. Oh gosh, enjoy the fact that the project is coming to a close, and soon enough you will have the entire expanse of the highway. Development is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago, but it's because it happened under the PNM. Had it happened under the UNC, we are not interested. Or they ain't like that. Or they're not interested in that. Right? Okay. So let me see. Right. Asha Ramlakan says, imagine after 8 years, them now finish 100 meters of highway, which will mash up by the next week. You hear the mindset? Compared to the UNC, who built approximately 100 kilometers and all the relocations, etc., in 5 years, and calling that delivery. But she's an expert, this Asha Ramlakan. Always have nothing good to say, but anyway. But I just wanted to give you all an idea as to the thinking of that party, the supporters from captain to crook, every last one of them. Oppose. But for those of us right-thinking citizens, we know it's a good development, and we give the government kudos for that. And hopefully in the coming months, I would propose to some of my admins here that we go out on the road, visit some of these projects that the government is engaging in, projects that have been completed over the last few years, and we will do videography of it. And so we could not only show it here on the lives, but on the Real Issues project as well, where we know we have a very strong UNC viewership, because the program before mine and after mine is UNC. So they could see, it would be in the face. So when they like to ask what the government do in the last 8 years and all that money the PNM spend and thing, well, we will go out on the road with our cameras and we will film it so they could see all the housing projects, all the different infrastructure projects. We will be bringing it live for you all to see for yourself. And it will be here stored so you could pull it up and share it for them to see. And for all of the UNC supporters who love to come and view it, well, don't worry. All they want to know what the government, no longer we talking. We will be showing you all what the government has done for the last 8 years. If all they want to know, fine. We will show it to you all. And then we hear what they have to say after that. Okay? So, coming back to Mr. Munilal, of this gun thing. You know, so he knows, they have the connections in the police service to know the name of the officer to whom Stuart Young gave the gun, the name of the specialist unit to whom Stuart Young gave the gun. But he can't give us any details with respect to Mr. Adrian Ali and that incident where he used a licensed firearm to threaten at least 3 persons. He can't give us any details with respect to the email that was sent to him, sent to Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, sent to Jolene John, sent to Dave Tanku, sent to other members of the UNC hierarchy, in which the victim, the alleged victim, one of them, outlined the details of the incident or incidents in which Mr. Ali is accused of pulling a licensed firearm and threatening people, right? In which he's accused of sharing intimate photos of the alleged victim. They have nothing to say on that. He wouldn't come and call a press conference and give us the details of that email. Since he liked to report on everything, you want to report on Stuart Young and all of that. Well, give us a report on that, Munilal. Share with us the finer details of that email. But you want to pursue this thing with Stuart Young and Stuart Young handing a gun, and you want to know the circumstances under which the gun was handed in. The UNC nominee, the man who was the front runner nominee, I believe for the Ozanville Tunapuna seat in the recently concluded local government election, who up until the point at which he was held at a bar in Tunapuna, 2 o'clock in the morning, with an unlicensed firearm, an illegal firearm, which would have brought an end, as it should have, a swift end to his political ambitions. And I verily believe that had it not been reported in the newspaper, they might have been inclined to still keep him as the candidate, because they didn't win the seat, but they probably felt he might have been able to do it, probably because he's popular, or maybe because he could have used the gun to threaten people. But I digress. I would like Mr. Munilal to give us the finer details as to where did Mr. Swift get this gun? Has that gun been used in any crimes, Mr. Munilal? Has that gun been used to threaten anybody? Was that gun used to rob anybody, Mr. Munilal? Was that gun used to take anybody's life, Mr. Munilal? Because since you have contacts in the police service and you could get intimate details about everything, call your contacts in the police service and share with us. Get us, see if you could get that information for us now. Did Mr. Swift share with the police where he got that gun from? And the person who gave him the gun, is he a supplier of guns, Mr. Swift? Is this the only firearm that he has? Has he been in possession of other illegal firearms? If whoever he got the firearm from, is that person in the habit of providing illegal firearms to other persons? Has that person been arrested and charged, Mr. Munilal? Or is that person still out there at large, free as a bird to be able to continue to supply illegal firearms to persons who are not so licensed or authorized to use a firearm? This is what we would like you to tell us, Mr. Munilal. So you want to come and tell us who Stuart Young gave the gun to, the name of the officer and the unit? Fine, you go ahead and talk that. But when you're done talk that, pull the report to tell us all of these things about this man who was supposed to be the UNC's front-runner nominee, who, had he not been careless on that particular night, would have escaped the long arm of the law, and quite possibly, if depending, well, thank goodness for the smart, upstanding citizens in that particular district who went out and voted for the right candidate. But nevertheless, Mr. Munilal, had this individual been successful, had the election gone the way that you all wanted it to go, we're hoping that it would have gone, as you were the man who say you all went to beat the PNM to a frazzle and then beat the frazzle. Had you all been successful in that seat and this man had escaped the long arm of the law, today we would have had a criminal sitting as the councillor for that seat, sitting on the council of the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation, making decisions with respect to the expenditure of public monies. So we would like you to share that information with us, Mr. Munilal. Tell us, if you could give us the finer details of Mr. Adrian Ali's situation, which you should be able to do, because that one is in-house. You could pick up the phone and call Adrian and ask him for an explanation. It ain't that hard, because it seems none only want to talk to the media, right? But had it been a PNM councillor, we wouldn't hear the end of it. Perhaps the last 3 Sunday morning waste of time press conferences would have been to treat with and call in on the Prime Minister and this one and that one to give an explanation. But we about Mr. Swift and that particular firearm. Since you have an interest in firearms, tell us about that one. Where he gets it from? We want to know that. Was it used in any other crimes? We would love to know that. Give us the full detailed report. Call your people in the police service and ask them to share that with you. But no, you're not interested in that. Because why? You're hoping that you didn't want to, the UNC must stay off of the radar with respect to those negative things. We ain't talking that. You're not ready for that conversation. But you want to talk about Stuart Young. Let me see if I pull this thing right. The Firearms Act of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me just get this here. Just give me 1 second. I'll pull this up here. Because you see, the Firearms Act of Trinidad and Tobago allows for citizens to turn in firearms. As I would have asked the question some time ago, or last week or so, if it is an individual has a firearm and is leaving the country permanently, they migrate in. What is supposed to do with the firearm? Sell it? What is supposed to do with it? Give it to their cousin? Or is there something that allows them to be able to turn it in, donate it, surrender it to the police? Now, they're making a case claiming that Stuart Young would have altered the firearm to make it a semi-automatic or some kind of thing like that. But in order to do that, you must have a variation. Where did the variation come from? Not the goodly Gary Griffith, the commissioner of police at the time, who now has plenty to say on this too. I see he put out a post on his Facebook page, but he didn't put it out directly. He sent it out under the hand of his lackey, Timothy Mallow. Section 40 of the Firearms Act. Let me just pull that up here for you. Yes. For those of us who might be interested to know. Section 40 of the Firearms Act says, where any, let me see, the person who holds a firearm user's license, right, subject to sections, right? Subject to section 6 and 7, the holder of a firearm user's license may, if he does not desire to retain in his possession the firearm or ammunition to which such license relates, surrender the license and deliver the firearm or ammunition to the officer in charge of the police station nearest to the place at which he is ordinarily resident. Section 44 of the Firearm Users Act. Let me read that again for the benefit of Rudal Munilal, since he wants to know under what law did Stuart Young donate or surrender his firearm to the police, given that we are not under a gun amnesty. So apparently, for this lawmaker who is supposed to be who is involved in making laws, which is this law here. He is saying there is no gun amnesty in place. So under what law did Stuart Young surrender his firearm? Well, let me read it again for his benefit and the benefit of those who support him. Section 44 of the Firearm Users Act. Firearm Act. You could pull it up. The supporters of that party. Subject to subsection 6 and 7, the holder of a firearm user's license may, if he does not desire to retain in his possession the firearm or ammunition to which such license relates, surrender the license and deliver the firearm or ammunition to the officer in charge of the police station nearest to the place at which he is ordinarily resident. So the law, the Firearm Act, prescribes the circumstances under which a person may go and surrender a firearm to the police. To the police, it is there, section 44 of the Firearms Act. Mr. Munilal, Mr. Lawmaker Munilal. It seems you don't know the very same laws that you're supposed to be debating all the time. But the UNC have the best lawyers. Yeah? You couldn't ask Saddam that. But to the best of my knowledge, Rudal Munilal has some sort of legal credentials too, not so? You could ask Jayanti, yeah? You see, no set of pictures all there rubbing shoulders on any. Well, anyway, let me don't go there. Right. Let me don't go there. But you could ask Jayanti, or you could have called your partner Anand and ask Anand, but you see, you're not interested in facts. You're not interested in information, or you're interested in propaganda and couture. But I want to tell you, not everybody in this country is of the waterfront ilk. Not everybody in this country supports blindly. Not everybody in this country supports not knowing what the hell they're supporting. I'm supporting she. She's the Prime Minister. Everything good. Everything good. No. That ilk is reserved for your parties. There are those of us here who know where to research and we know how to research. You understand? And Google is not just to pull up TikTok and whatever else. And other foolishness. It's not for that. Only. It's very easy, right there. Plenty of us have smartphones and plenty of us have data plan and internet access. Section 44 of the Firearms Act. For the benefit of the UNC persons who are listening, it is right there. I'll read it for you all one more time for your own benefit. Subject to subsection 6 and 7, the holder of a firearm user's license may, if he does not desire to retain in his possession the firearm or ammunition to which such license relates, surrender the license and deliver the firearm or ammunition to the officer in charge of the police station nearest to the place in which he is ordinarily resident. Now, I understand that Mr. Young would have donated the gun to the police armory or something like that. And I do believe, if memory serves me correctly, Mr. Young does live in the St. James area there. I will not specify where, but that general area there. Okay? That is it. Hence the reason. But in any event, I've made the point before, Stuart Young is an accomplished attorney at law. Before he came into politics, he was an attorney. So I'm sure he's familiar with the Firearms Act and he knows the law. And in addition to that, as I said before, Stuart Young has, at any given point in time during the day, once he's in his vehicle, and even when he's not in his vehicle, he has at least 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 police officers who accompany him at any given point in time. Okay? So if it is in Shore, he could ask any one of them. They're supposed to know the procedure. Any one of them he could ask. He works in the office. He also maintains an office in the office of the Prime Minister at Whitehall. So it have officers there too. So if he ain't sure, he could go and ask any one of them. He could pick up the phone and call Special Branch and ask them too. So he has multiple resources available to him to guide him as to how he should proceed with that. So this case that Munilal making here is a non-issue. A blatant non-issue. But they continue to push it. Why? They're desperate for something to hold on to. Because they are anticipating the curtail that will come. With all that is to come over the course of the next 2 years. And there are other things in trade which I will not speak of now, but you will be seeing it rolling out very soon. So all those who say the government is doing enough and the government needs to get down on the ground, it come in, and they have no answer for it. No answer they have for it. The government has already started the process, as we were discussing last week. 20 million by 24 million set aside in grants for the citizens of this country who have business aspirations, who have entrepreneurial aspirations. The government is telling you, come, we will help you. We will give you seed money to start. We will give you the technical assistance to start. We will guide you as to where you need to go to be able to develop your business and bring your business from idea to reality. So we're targeting at least 1,000 persons in one cohort, and then on the other side, another 1,000 persons. So we're hoping over the course of the next 2 to 3 years to be able to, well, the next 2 years at the very least, to produce at least 2,000 plus entrepreneurs, 2,000 persons with their own business, 2,000 people who are not dependent on employer, 2,000 persons who are not going to be working 8 to 4, but 24/7 to develop their business, in order to further the diversification thrust of Trinidad and Tobago in a variety of different fields. It is not limited to agriculture. Whatever business idea you have, government is saying to you, come. We want to have a conversation. And we have a checkbook on the side waiting. The only obstacle that we see to this is for the UNC to come and say too much African applying. For them to file a Freedom of Information request on the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, on the Ministry of Trade, and whichever other ministry will be involved in this initiative to find out, we want to know how many persons of African descent and how many persons of East Indian descent apply for these grants. How many were granted? So we could do a comparison to say, well, okay, we see that it had 10 more Africans than East Indians, so therefore the program is not balanced. The government is engaging in discrimination. We go into the Equal Opportunity Commission and the courthouse. That's the only obstacle I see to this, right? That and the mindset of the citizens who decide to take up the opportunity that the government is providing you to become your own business owner, an entrepreneur in every house, for you to be the exemplar in your household, so that entrepreneurship could now start to flourish in your house. So when one person see another person, you could encourage 3-4 other persons in your family to come and to go and apply, so they could start their own business too, and they could start building generational wealth. And so that generational wealth will no longer be limited or seen as being the purview of only a certain section of society, right? But as I said, as all these things roll out, look and see the opposition trying to pour cold water on it, because these are the things that would bring people to support the PNM, because they want to see more of that, more programs such as that. So the UNC, it is not in their best interest to encourage or to support or to commend these types of initiatives, which they never did. Shut down the youth camps and the CCC and all of these different things. This government is reviving all of that, but adding additional programs to it as well, not just for the young people, but for any citizen of Trinidad and Tobago to benefit directly from the patrimony of the state in a meaningful, sustainable, and long-lasting way. Not to give you a grant that by the time you reach in Pennywise, before you even walk through the door, half of it gone. And you're depending on that every month. And as the price of the things that you're allowed to purchase with that grant goes up, it becomes less and less beneficial. But you're depending on it anyway. So this government not promoting baby grant and food card. No, this is a government that promoting entrepreneurship and business. For too long, we've been hearing the government ain't doing nothing for the citizens of this country. For 8 years they're in office and they ain't doing nothing. No, they've been doing a lot. It's just you're not interested to see. Or you're not interested in what they're doing because you don't see how it benefits you directly. But it's not about you alone. It's about the entire country. All right? I want to play something here for you. Hear this. Because it seems that someone is hell-bent on reviving her, well, not political fortunes, but she wants to get back the title of national nuisance. Just what she went away, she come back. Let me just play this here quickly, right? And let me address some of the things that she said. And I only play it because when I look at the number of views and the number of shares, and I realize that there are persons out there who see in this nonsense and would be inclined to latch on to it because she have talking like she have a little bit of an accent, and sounding like she know what she's talking about, but she doesn't, just like that individual from 91.9. Maybe I will go back and check and see. Right. Let me get this here. This is Miss Lower.
I want to respond to a statement made by the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. Dr. Rowley stated that Trinidad and Tobago can win the fight against crime. And I want to ask Dr. Rowley a couple of questions this morning. In fact, a few questions this morning. If you are serious about fighting crime, Dr. Rowley, now I understand that you must say that because it's something to say. I also understand that you are saying that because you are addressing your followers and supporters. But Dr. Rowley, what you need to understand is you are also addressing the intelligent population of Trinidad and Tobago who can understand that statement as simply political rhetoric. You see, you can make any statement you like, but if it's not backed up by actual results, it's just a statement. In fact, it's just something to say on an occasion when you are mandated to say something. It's meaningless. So the questions I have to ask you this morning, Dr. Rowley, would be, if you are that serious about managing the out of control crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago, where are the scanners at the port? Are they operationalized? What KPI, key performance indicator, is being used to measure the degree of success with the operationalization of those scanners? Where are the cell phone jammers at the prisons? And again, what metric are you using for measurement of success? Where are the body cams on the TTPS officers? Where are the cameras in the vulnerable areas in Trinidad and Tobago? You see, I put it to you, Dr. Rowley, that if you were serious about managing crime, fighting crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and giving the population a sense of security and safety, that would have been a critical step towards the management of crime. But since you are not interested, Dr. Rowley, and perhaps this is the most critical question, since you are not interested in protecting the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who are you protecting, Dr. Rowley?
Living all the way in, I believe, the Netherlands for the past how many years, right? But always have something to say about what is going on in the country. Now, to her own credit, she does criticize the UNC as well, and Mrs. Prasad Bissessar, but she's advocating change in the UNC to replace the PNM, right? Because she still thinks that the UNC has hope, even with the future of that party, the future leadership of the party, as Kamala calls them, children of the UNC, who include people like Anal Ram, Ravi Ratiram, Saddam Hussein, to a lesser extent Khadija Amin, and others. And if you look at the backgrounds of all of these people, question marks. But like David Lee, who's before the court, but you have him sit down with Rudal Munial, the next one, who is the subject of a civil suit for hundreds of millions of dollars. Two of them sit down side by side this morning as we speak, hosting a press conference to talk about nonsense and try and chain up the population of Trinidad and Tobago. And they are supposed to be future ministers of government of Trinidad and Tobago, right? So I should sit back and be happy to have a man who is on $1 million bail for fraud as my minister of energy. I'm supposed to be proud of that he should jump on a plane and go abroad to represent my country to talk energy issues. And he has a charge over his head, several charges, in fact, and is on $1 million bail. That is the best that the UNC could find, the best that the UNC could recruit. Had it been the PNM, we know he's gone a long time. Now, even though he's an elected MP, you can't force him to resign. But under the PNM, we know that come 2025, his name would not be, he wouldn't even be considered for screening. UNC, not so. It don't work so. The more colorful your resume in terms of the potential to be a criminal, the better your chances that you would be selected, right? So Anal Ram and his issues with respect to being fired from 2 public utility companies has not been resolved, but yet still he's sitting in the parliament representing a whole constituency and want to be contributing to laws, contributing to the making of laws in this country. A man who has questions to answer, a man who took a decision while he was a senior manager at TSTT that could have cost lives of citizens of this country working in TSTT because he sought to get the equipment that he sought to procure was not ideal, was not suited for the purpose that TSTT wanted. And in fact, the report says that the lives of these men could have been at risk had they procured those bucket trucks from a company that had no experience whatsoever in providing bucket trucks. Yeah? Millions of dollars paid well beforehand, not one truck delivered. And then when the company tried to get back the money from the entity that secured the contract, what they were told, well, we can't pay all back all the money now, we got to try and pay all back in parts. So where do we the money? What did you do with the money? But anyway, I digress. So Ms. Lower is asking about the scanners and saying if Dr. Rowley was really interested in bringing down crime, he would address the issue of the scanners. The issue of the scanners and the port has been addressed ad nauseum. You know what I can't take with people like Suzette Lower and her dishonesty? Suzette Lower would have spoken on the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, International Security, that would have interviewed Customs and Excise earlier on, well, in December of last year, would have interviewed the senior management of the Customs Division from the Customs, the Comptroller of Customs and Excise, the Deputy, and several other members of management police as well, with respect to the scanners. She commented on that. She didn't speak to the issue of the scanners, but I know she would have seen the entire presentation, the entire meeting, and she had plenty to say on that. In that very same Joint Select Committee meeting, as I've referenced before, where the issue was raised about the scanners, and the Comptroller of Customs indicated that since 2021, they were allocated $90 million or $91 million by the Ministry of Finance to buy scanners. $91 million since 2021. The Ministry of Finance did what they were supposed to do, gave them the money. The process therefrom is for them to do an RFP through the Central Tenders Board, and then go put the matter out to tender. Let me see if I have that here. No. And then it's supposed to go out to tender and follow the procedure. After the Central Tenders Board do what they have to do, the tenders come in from the various vendors, then you assess it and you make a decision, and the scanners are procured. And then you have to put in place a whole maintenance contract and so on. In fact, the Deputy Customs Comptroller of Customs was making the point that the issue of the scanners has been poor maintenance. Poor maintenance. That's the main thing. Who is responsible for the maintenance of the scanners? The scanners fall under the purview of the Customs and Excise Division. All are using the scanners every day, or supposed to be using it every day. The Ministry of Finance giving you all a budget every year to run your division. So you, when you're preparing your budget estimates to forward to the Ministry of Finance, right, you're supposed to put in there, we need X amount of millions for maintenance of the scanners. We need X amount of millions to procure new scanners. We need X amount of millions to hire new customs officers to man the scanners. All of these are things you're supposed to put in your budget when you forward to the Ministry of Finance for their consideration, so that when the minister reads the budget, he could say, well, we allocate X amount of money to Customs and Excise Division for that purpose, because it is the Customs and Excise Division that is responsible for maintenance of the scanners, not the Ministry of Finance directly. Even though Customs and Excise falls under the Ministry of Finance, that is the responsibility of the Comptroller of Customs. But when the scanners break down, we're not saying, well, what the Customs, what the Comptroller doing? We're not asking what the management of Customs doing. No, the minister and the government are doing their work. It's because of the minister and the government that the scanners non-functional on the port. And we're blaming the minister and the government, and in the meantime, the people who draw in the big salary, in some cases, more money than the line minister, they rock back and they're happy. You know why? Because the spotlight not on them. They're not doing their work. And it's because they're not doing their work, the scanner's not working, and the minister and the government getting blamed by the citizens. And the opposition, who understands the system, knows how it works, wouldn't come and tell the supporters and tell the wider country, we need to bring or call the Comptroller of Customs and her staff to book for this, you know. No. We like it so. We go join the chorus and blame the government and blame the minister, because the scanner's not working and the guns coming through the legal ports of entry. Right? And that working because it suits their narrative. But as the one thing Suzette Lower said there that makes sense, not everybody in this country, have intelligent citizens in this country who know better and who understand how the things work. So again, I raise the issue. You have people in management positions, senior management positions in the public service of this country, making ton of money every month, right? We hear how much money customs officers make, how much is making overtime and all that kind of thing and whatnot. In fact, I have a client who's a customs officer will tell me, by the way, you might have touched my salary. The thing is getting overtime and whatnot, taking care of that. Right, good for you. Very good. Very good. And I'm sure it have others like that as well. But we want to blame the government without understanding how the system works, because it fits a particular narrative to do so. So $91 million allocated since 2021, and no scanners in by yet, but that's the government fault. You ain't asking customs, what's the problem? So customs, when you finally ask them, well, okay, what's the problem? Customs say, well, it's because of the procurement process. The procurement process says that even though we have the money, we cannot just go out and buy scanners. We can't go up on Amazon and put in, we want scanners for the port, and we look through and we see which one cost effective or whatever, and we order it and it comes. It don't work so. We have to go through the Central Tenders Board, invite tenders, invite bids. Bids have to be assessed and all of that. Then we come RFP and all them kind of thing, and you send it out and all of that, and then, yeah. That takes time. Because remember, the opposition wants probity, they want transparency, they want good governance when it comes to proper procurement. And they tell us that the government watered down the procurement legislation, that the procurement legislation that they brought in 2012 or 2013, that the government watered down and they pull out this and they pull out that, and then they come with and they remove the 2/3 majority and all of them kind of thing to water down the legislation so they could give their friends, family, and financiers money and contract. But in that same GSC meeting, you have Rudal Munilal telling the Comptroller of Customs, so he didn't explore reaching out to the National Security Council to ask them to bypass the time-tested or the sanctioned procedure, bypass the proper procurement procedure as laid down in the guidebooks for the public service to tell the National Security Council, hey, what now? We need some scanners, so let me go with Soul Select now. Or they just pick somebody. Pick anybody and get them the contract. This is Munilal asking the Comptroller of Customs that. And she had to reply to him and tell him, no, sir, I cannot do that. Because this is the public service and we have rules and guidelines by which we operate. And those rules and guidelines say we must go through the Central Tenders Board. So I can't do that. And as a lawmaker, I am surprised you would ask me something like that you would even suggest that we could have done something like that. These same people who today telling you the government watered down the procurement legislation. That when the government come and they tell you, well, look, there are certain things in which it will be difficult if we have to go through the prescribed procedure under the new procurement legislation. It is going to cause a lot of bureaucracy and red tape, and that could grind the country to a halt. That could grind the country to a halt. This is what they are saying. These same people fighting it, the government saying we set a threshold of $1 million. Now, they want to think we're supporting that and all of that. But the same Kamla Prasad Bisesa, leader of that party, coming here to tell you about the government oppressing the small businessman and the bacon shack lady and the doubles vendor, and this one and the that one. That when it is, they had to provide services to the corporations and so on. Now they had to go through and register with the OPR and all of this deal. But anyway, now I make the point again. If the government had taken his suggestion and done that, you know what happened? They would have here, they get a partner the contract. You see, that is why they allow the scanners and them they refuse to maintain the scanners because they wanted it to break down on purpose. So to create a national security issue, to create an emergency situation where they had to use Soul Select so they could get a partner and the 1% the contract to bring in these scanners. That is what we'd have been hearing now. Not that Munilal advocating Soul Select. No. We hear a totally different story. That is why they do that. They know that's why they wasn't given the money and the resources to the That's why they didn't want to give the resources to customs. Deliberately they did that. But you see, if they were in office, the fact that Rudal Munilal asked that tells me that if they were in office, that's what they would have done. That is what they would have done. And we know what happens when the UNC utilizes Soul Select. The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago get robbed. We get robbed. So they can say, well, it was an emergency situation, we had no choice. And therefore, whatever the contractor charged, we had to pay because we needed to get the scanners to treat with the issue of illegal guns coming into the country through legal ports of entry. That is what you could expect in 2025 from them, if God forbid they get back into office. And I can tell you, it's only going to become a little more difficult, provided, of course, that, well, I know the PNM will do what they have to do, but we're also calling on the voters, the supporters of the PNM to come out, as you all do. But some of you all I know kind of fall back. So we expect that you will do what it is you need to do in 2025. Right? But I'm not surprised. But she wants to come and talk this nonsense. Okay, I don't know who this is, but anyway, yeah, she wants to come and talk. Suzette Law, what that is. She's all of a sudden, she's a security expert. She's a security expert and want to know what's going on with the cell phone jammers in the prison. How are the cell phones getting into the prison? Deal with that bigger issue. Instead of talking about the cell phone jammers and what's going on, the bigger issue to deal with, how are the cell phones getting into the prison? Is that the prisoners are allowed 1 hour off every day to go outside and do what they have to do and come back? How the weed getting into the prison? How the contraband getting into the prison? They're walking in? They scale the wall in the night? You have somebody in the prison with a magic wand that is wave and these things just happen to appear? How many prisons officers have we seen in the last few months coming before the courts, trying to bring things into the prison that they should not be bringing into the prison? How many of them? That is the bigger issue we need to be dealing with. The issue, and the thing is that issue has to be dealt with because the officers who are doing it for the basis of collecting a little extra kakada, right? So if it is, I don't know what is the process. If it is they bringing in the stuff and then the prisoners they're giving it to, some of them high profile will make a call and so like organize and they will drop off the money for so and so, as the case may be. That those who are doing this are putting the lives of the other officers who are not involved in it and who the prisoners are trying to recruit, putting their lives at risk. Because it seems that in situations where officers refuse to participate, their lives are being threatened, and in some cases, they find themselves losing their lives. Because these prisoners have access to phones to be able to make a call or shoot a call outside. Or perhaps we don't even know if maybe they're giving messages to some of the officers when you go here, you will call this number and you will tell he so and so, and he will make arrangements, and he will let you know, and he'll get back to me and tell me what you say. And then, so is it a case that we also have prison officers who are now stool pigeons? Carrier pigeons? So if we can't make a call, you call so and so, let them know, whoever, and they go organize something. Putting your fellow officers' lives at risk. But the only thing Suzette could deal with that is the cell phone jammer. So how are you jamming the prison officer who playing stool pigeon? The cell phone, the prison officer who taking notes, copious notes, and playing courier, playing TT Post courier. How the cell phone jammer stopping him or her? But you see, they're so myopic and figure everybody's stupid, and there's only one way these things could be happening. These are the things that we need to do. You need to look at the recruitment process. I don't know if it is perhaps the prison officers find they're making enough money. I don't know what is the motivation for it. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how much money you're making, there will always be people who want more and more. Because the more money they make, their lifestyle increases. It has to elevate, and it requires more money. And then eventually you find yourself in a situation where it is too difficult. You find yourself in a situation where pressure, you can't come out of it, even if you want to, because you're too deep in it. Too deep. But Suzette is studying that part, blame Rowley because we're going on with the cell phone jammers in the prison. That's the only way to treat with that. And Suzette, you miss know it all because you out there in the Netherlands and you figure, yes, well, Netherlands is better than Trinidad and Tobago. So I know what I'm speaking about because I have a bachelor's in so and so, and I am some senior manager in some international company, some Fortune 500 company. And I have a staff of so much and so much. So therefore, I am schooled, and I could tell Rowley how to do his work. Why don't come back and run for office? You're so bright, and you couldn't see what was going to happen with the PDP. Those of us who are not bright like you saw what was going to happen to the PDP. Where are they today? See in the newspaper yesterday, they moved out from the big fancy office in Barataria. Mr. Duke said we weren't evicted. But it's just that we're rationalizing operations now and trying to cut costs where we can. So we will be moving office to Port of Spain, but that office will not be as visible. I was easily identifiable as the office in Barataria. Only ever hear nonsense, so? Only ever hear rubbish, so? We're moving from Barataria to Port of Spain, but the Port of Spain office will not be as visible, as easily identifiable. I would think if as a political party you want to have a presence, you want to have a headquarters, your headquarters should be visible. Everybody know where Balize House is. Everybody know where the UNC headquarters is. Well, the temporary one until they get evicted sooner rather than later. When you're driving on the highway, you're driving up the highway, you must see the big UNC sign in Chaguanas there just off the highway. You can't miss it, right? But you come in to talk about the office will not be as visible, as easily identifiable. So what's the point of having an office? What's the point? So when people, yeah, you know where the PDP office is? Nah, I know where that is now. Now I want to go and talk to Watson. Now I don't know where that is now. Watson, that making sense? That making sense, Watson? Is it that, well, the little kakada that you're making as an assemblyman is not enough to maintain the lifestyle, because you ain't getting all the big money you were collecting in PSA anymore. I think I heard somebody mention to me that he said he might be considering another run of the with respect to PSA to go back there, you know, because the money dry up. You ain't getting no more contracts in WhatsApp under this administration as you were getting under the People's Partnership, eating a food, drinking a juice and Belgian. So that well dry up. You don't have the PSA bank account anymore. That well dry up. And the little small crumbs you're getting as an assemblyman, that can't cut it. So Paul Watson, what is he to do? You had this poor little girl cussing you. She's not the only one. I had one before who talk about how she come and she walk with you and she was working with you and she was doing this, that, the other, and the next, and you didn't pay her. You allow another one to come on social media to embarrass you too. Say you promise her $600 to work as a polling officer on election day, and up to now you're ducking her, you're giving her the ghost and she can't get her money. Where all the big money you had, Watson? Where all the big money? Is it that you were banking on THA would operate like the PSA? And it ain't working so anymore? You're not there anymore. Fali give you a 649 and a swift boot. So now Fali enjoying what you should have been enjoying. Fali in the spotlight. Fali is chief secretary. Fali is being driven and escorted by his special branch. And what you have? Nothing. You create that. Imagine that. The great Watson Duke. The great Watson. Poor you. Look where you end up. Pour me one in our corner. You were supposed to be the mayor of Port of Spain. What happened to that? Which Port of Spain? Not Port of Spain, capital of Trinidad and Tobago. Can't be. Poor soul. Now we're talking about you going back to Tobago because you have unfinished business in Tobago. Tobago all the time with you. You're a spent force, unfortunately. But you left us with that. With Fali and Sutika and what's her name? This next one who killed, she dead. She's a member of court in the UK. Baroness somebody. Always with all kind of fascinator and all kind of thing. You didn't see them dressed up like some soca sauce for the Independence Day parade in Tobago. You didn't see them. You see one who talking about yes, we need to let go of the colonial past and the colonial shackles. But all of them dress up like you would swear they were going to Buckingham Palace, dinner in Buckingham Palace. If you see them, the hat shifts so and all kind of thing, and well, let me see the pictures. Right. That is, yeah. So we relax the dress code. So you want to come in a government office in a rubber slippers, a white beater vest with big hole in the back and the pants below your bottom. Why come in, ma'am, to them? You come in. Public office, you do what you want. Yeah, you're smelling like a ram goat. Come in. No problem. You don't need to look proper. Dress how you want. But all you dress up. You see, the only thing the men were missing was these are the scissors, tail, the penguin suit. Yeah, that is the part that was missing. If you see Pali pants tight, you could have really blood pressure. I don't know what's going on with it. When I see that man stand up on the podium and his tight pants and I'm watching, I see it, 120 over what? 80? I don't know, that's the new style. But Anil Roberts and them know about Faris and tight pants and yeah, but they ain't seen Fali wearing tight pants now. They're not interested in Fali tight pants, only Faris tight pants and Stuart Young small pin. There was one other thing I needed to touch on, yeah, but what was it, boy? What was right? So let me just touch on this quickly because I'm watching the time. The leader of the opposition continues to be besieged by Marsha Walker, right? Marsha continues to make revelations and so on. So we saw where there has been a number of resignations from the office of the leader of the opposition. The entire communications team and so on is now gone. We understand some of these people would have been there since the days of Pandey, and they have now gone. So she's looking to bring in some of her lackeys. But this lady is so shameless. That's not. So shameless. In her desperation to try and explain or to hide her incompetence, because I'm certain the people who are there, she's been opposition leader for the last 8 years, and I'm sure these people didn't have 8-year contracts. So she would have gone through this process before to renew the people's contracts, right? But for whatever reason, she was probably tied up with the election and talking about load up the matic and empty the clip. She didn't study the people and them there, right? So the contract comes to an end. It has been exposed by the UNC cabal and others. I see she was happy to put up an article by one Anna Ramdas, also known as News Source refers to her, Anne of Green Fables, in order to try and pacify the situation, because it's just fire after fire. Poor Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar has to be putting out these days. And it says Kamala axes UNC PRT. You see how the media in this country dangerous and deceitful? Kamala axes the people and them submit their resignation, but Kamala axes. So make it look as if she did something. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is overhauling her communications team. The Express understands that Prasad-Bissessar opted to not renew the contracts of several members of her team, which expired last month. The move created frustration among staff as they were uncertain whether their tenure would continue or not. This is the same opposition leader who always accusing Keith Rowley of costing people their jobs, how much people losing their work. But she overhauling, and you refuse to renew the people contract, right? And these contracts are with the Parliament, because these are considered to be parliamentary staff. The office of opposition leader falls under Parliament. Bridget. But all of these people now out of work. Some of them had to resign, they had no choice, right? But it says here, axes, right? Kamala axes UNC PRT. So you fire all these people, they are no work, they don't have families to support. School going on open tomorrow, they don't have bills to pay. They don't have books to buy. They don't have children to send to school. So for the last month, you have them in abeyance. They don't know what the hell going on. We getting paid, we ain't getting paid, we don't know what's going on. But school going on open, we had uniform to buy. But blame Rowley. But you wasn't concerned about these people, who some of them have children to take care of, and where the next meal coming from, and whether they will have money to send the children to school, passage to pay because they had to pay the taxi, and they had to pay the school transport. You went study about that. But you're so concerned about how much people lost their work. You were to create 50,000 jobs, but how much people you send home, according to you? The move created first, right? Sources told the Express the team members were removed from social media control groups on Thursday night. The decision came as Prasad-Bissessar removed from social media control groups on Thursday night. The decision came as Prasad-Bissessar expressed the need to have a new team going forward into 2025 general election, as the former team had been there for 7 years. Some staff members continued to pledge loyalty to Prasad-Bissessar, while others decided to move on to other opportunities. Raidan Budan, research officer in the opposition leader's office, told the Express yesterday that she did not resign but opted not to apply for a contract renewal. I didn't resign, my contract was coming to an end, and I chose not to apply for renewal for personal reasons that have nothing to do with politics or any acrimonious reason. But I will continue to work as a UNC activist, and I will continue to support the political leader 100%. Right. Yeah, Raidan. Meanwhile, communications officer Julie Ramlal sent an email to Prasad-Bissessar indicating that she too will not seek a contract renewal. Ramlal further expressed that she felt undervalued over a lack of communication. Her email said, further to your WhatsApp messages sent in the opposition leader staff and communications group last night regarding meetings on contracts, I wish to advise that I will not be seeking renewal of my contract. The lack of communication over the past few weeks had led me to reflect on my time here, and I have come to feel undervalued within the organization. It is essential for me to be a part of a team where my contributions are valued and there is mutual respect. Given this situation, I have decided to actively explore other opportunities. So it seems all is not well in the office of the opposition leader. But just as Kamala was doing when she was prime minister, not doing her work, right? The same thing she doing in the office of the opposition leader, not doing work. People, no communication, so people don't know what to do. Contract coming up to expire, we ain't talking. Contract coming up to expire, we ain't talk nothing. They ain't sit down with, we ain't call no meeting, nothing. So what? When the contract expires on the end of August, what are we supposed to do after that? I have a job, I do have a job, I'm supposed to sit down and wait, or I need to start looking for work. She studied about load up the matic. Trinidad, load up the matic, knock it on them, knock it again, knock it again. Yeah, load up the matic on all of these people. The Express was told further that contrary to Guardian report, Mondesir Comstat Derek Colin Boren did not resign as UNC Public Relations Officer because of feeling sidelined over the selection of Dudan Miru. Well, mustn't lie, boy. Stop lying. All you know is because, anyway. Right. She can't even hold the office of the leader of the opposition together. She can't manage a small staff in the office of the opposition leader, but she wants to be prime minister again. She wants to be prime minister again. These are the things that you need to look at. These are the things. And I'm seeing here that the contracts would have ended since August the 10th. Since the 10th of August contract ends, so people know if they're getting paid. How the bills being paid at the end would have been paid at the end of the month. You send in at the 11th hour, you send in email, not email, sorry, a message in the WhatsApp group at the 11th hour to tell them you want to have a meeting. This is how you engage in human resource management. I asking that question. Persons used to work every week on the Sunday morning, the waste of time press conference I did have taking place that had nothing to do with the opposition leader, the office of the opposition leader. Imagine that. So the parliament, which was paying these people, right? Paying them to organize UNC waste of time Sunday morning press conference. So your tax dollars paying for these people to UNC work. Not the work related to the office of the leader of the opposition. The office of the leader of the opposition must be separate and apart from the political leader of the UNC. But you're supposed to have that in your UNC headquarters. Deal with that. That is not what the parliament paying people for. But you see, I bet you if Keith Rowley and the PNM was doing that, we would not hear the end of it. That they're using parliamentary staff or staff that is being paid by the parliament to do PNM work. That is what we'd have been hearing. But that is what Kamla Prasad Bisesa, as the political leader of the UNC and opposition leader, was endorsing. Right? UNC work being paid for by the parliament. That could never be right. Who is there to challenge it? Who is there to challenge it? Well, we will challenge it right here. We will challenge it. So I'm seeing here, this includes persons who are also not communications. They are low-level persons whose salary is below 6,000, who got a fraction, only 2,000 in August, and are now struggling to cover mortgage and rent. Will you hear that? They only get a fraction. So the contract ended as the 10th of August, but these people would have continued to work in the hope of, so they get a portion of their salary. And now, how they paying mortgage, how they paying rent, how the children going to school. My heart is pure and my hands are clean. I am a mother and a grandmother and I care. You know what? I care for you. No one will love you as I love you. All of me loves all of you. All this is line she given us, You ain't love these people. You ain't love their family. You ain't love their children. Huh? But all they want to talk about, oh, Rowley this and Rowley that. What about them? What about them, Kamla? When you were studying to load up the matic, you load up the matic on the paycheck. You empty the matic on the paycheck, and then you load it up and empty it again on the paycheck. So until these people could find a job, what are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? And you know what? All of the blasted hypocrites that have there in the leadership of that party, you feel they're going to say anything? No, because you had to pay obeisance to Kamla. Because the minute you speak out a tune, that is it, you're declared an Imakaram, and your day is numbered in politics. But for them, it's party before country, and they care more about the perks of office than they care about these people. But they're so loving, Rowley heartless and he wicked. He don't care about the citizens of this country. He wicked. You see how the PNM is? Inventory increase, raise gas, how much times and how much times? How are they paying for the gas? How are they paying for it? Right. What are they going to tell their families? What are they going to tell the landlord? Going on, we're supposed to have a meeting next week with the opposition leader. And you know if I could still have a job. The Speaker of the House needs to look into this matter to see whether or not, in fact, the UNC was using parliamentary staff or staff paid by the parliament to do work for the leader of the opposition to be doing UNC work. You're supposed to, and so now she wouldn't bring in all of her lackeys and whoever else. So, and I'm reading here staff were asking about renewal of contracts for months, and this was ignored. The loyal staff were asked. So these people have been begging for months to find out what it is going on, because if you had to go and take a loan, you need to make sure I still have a job. So I don't want to get myself in a loan and then the next thing I lost my work and I can't pay and the bank calling me. But she loves you so. Can't manage a small staff, but want to manage the country. Want to manage a cabinet. What is that? You see, all of these are the red flags. The proverbial red flags. All seeing it, you know. Seeing it. The supporters seeing it, but still want to, listen to me. Supporters are the I want all you to continue to support that. That is how a leader is supposed to behave. Support that for at least till 2025. Please. We beg it. Please. Keep her there. Keep her there. Please, please, please. Right? That is the best choice. That is the only person who could take you all into government in 2025. Kamla Prasad says, I endorse that. And the rest of us here, the PNM supporters, we endorsing that too. Kamla has our full endorsement to lead the UNC into general election 2025. We begging, please do it. Yeah? That's the UNC for you. And we're supposed to put our trust and confidence in that to run this country. And they're not even fit to be in opposition. Not even fit. A bunch of ragtag crooks is what they are. Can't wait to get back in the treasury. As they say, as soon as the treasury door open, all man for himself, every thief for himself, and the citizens have the hindmost. All the financiers sit down to wait and licking the chops. They don't start in the thing who win and be ambassador, and who win and be high commissioner, and who want what board and which board, because this board paying more money than that board and all of that. Yeah, that's what they were concerned about in the lead up to the 2020 general election. They don't divvy up position who win and get what to know, and who win and sit down on 2 and 3 board and eat a food and drink a juice. That is what they're concerned about, not the well-being of the citizens of this country. Because if that was the case, we would be applauding the fact that the highway is almost complete. We should be applauding that because it will benefit the wider citizenry. But all you come and talk about is 8 years and that's all they do in 8 years. No, that is not all they did in 8 years. That's all you see. That's all you want to see. But the rest of us, trust me, it coming. It coming. Kamla made a statement some time ago. Winter is coming. She didn't realize how so right she was. Where she was wrong was as to which party winter coming for. You see, her dishes look at them. But it's Game of Thrones. I think that was a line from Game of Thrones. She didn't know that winter was coming for her party. But I'll tell all you in that party, cloak up. Cloak up. Get all your scarf. Get all your coats. Yeah? Get your trench coat and so on, your mittens, your gloves, your galoshes. Winter is coming. Therefore, you feel the next 2 years, we're going to let you all off the hook. We'll have another thought coming. Yeah, don't worry. But I wouldn't say more because I know my PNM people just get vexed when I bust in the mark. So you have to keep some things in house. But as it's rolled out, all you will see. All you feel the PNM free election, bring it. We will teach you all a lesson. After 2025, all you will never call for elections again. All you say, call election now. Yeah. Wait and all you will see. Feel we joking. Shall I tell you? Let me see what I have here. Joy says she's actually living abroad and I do not critique the government on what they do. I'm proud of the work that Dr. Rowley and his government is doing. Yes. Jennifer says, who is the MP beating a senator for a chutney singer? Lord Father, never ends. Never ends. Melka says, even Kamla gone, there is no one to lead. Even if Kamla goes, there is no one to lead the UNC cult party. They will disintegrate. They already started to disintegrate. Already starting to disintegrate. If you marshal alone, the top others and more of them will be coming out of the woodworks. Don't worry. As things start to progress and they realize they have no answer for it. I saw a post just a couple of days ago on Facebook where a lot of the supporters now saying, it's time for Kamla to go. But we just telling all you, just hold up on it a little bit, just until 2025, please. After that, well, you can do what you want with it. It don't matter. As Munilal told you all in 2015 when he challenged her, that if it is that you will keep her on as political leader, you all will lose in 2020, 2025, 2030. And there's one thing he said that was true. 2020, all you lost. 2025, after that, I'm going to tell you, you all will wander in the political wilderness. You see, like the children of Israel, after they were disobedient to God, yeah? After he provided for them, they were so disobedient that they had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years until that generation died out. Well, you all will wander in the wilderness. That party has to wander in the wilderness until the entire generation of this current leadership of the UNC gone. All of them no good. And we will continue to expose them. So let them wander. But keep them there till 2025. They have a purpose to serve. So let all of them stay right there. Rudal, David Lee, Doppy, Saddam. Why do I always make that mistake? Mr. Hussain, my apologies. I don't know. It just happened. Just like Jack. Jack said he just stuttered. So he just confused him with her. But Saddam so close to Saddam, I always make that mistake. But forgive me, sir. I mean nothing by it. 7701763. Here, Jimmy Geddes. I'm not being facetious. I'm serious. Forgive me, though. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. Right, let me get this here. 7701763. Good morning, Mr. Chance. Good morning to Mr. Yates. Just connect this here. So, let me just get this connected here. And then just give me 1 sec there, caller. Let me just put this. Right. Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning, Dominic.
Hi.
How are you, my darling?
I am very good, and yourself?
You know nothing, huh?
Yes.
UNC the Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. UNC had a great fall. All the crazy blue gorilla blue would never put them back together again. Annie, darling, where are you? You said the piano put blood in Annie.
Yes.
You lose your voice, lost your mind, or the beating again, they can go crazy. He had so much mouth down before the election.
Yes.
There's a clarion call for you. So I'm a competitor.
Yes.
I was behaving good till I came online. I am sorry for my madness.
It's quite all right. Quite all right.
Keep something to it.
Yes.
PNM bad. Ron have the ethics to say he the one to wear.
Yes.
Before school to be open. She's a mother of what? Of madness? Of the grief we want to be around. She pretends. Now look at Marsha Walker, okay? Marsha Walker was Kamala's #1 creed in righteousness.
Yes.
How is she so hateful now? Before the wedding night took place, it was the place. There was no honeymoon. Marsha, darling, there is room at the model period. Have a woman just for you. I'll be educating them. Don't have a good weekend, my love.
Thank you. You too. I check to see what Marsha up to so far for the morning. Wonder, babe. 7701763. So let me see here. Marsha gets so much blows from the supporters of the UNC. They run out of names to call her. But of course, she had to get in the Makaram and the other words I will not mention. Typical. She says you can't run a political organization by looking in the rearview mirror and holding on to 10-year-old accomplishments. There are qualities that a prime minister in waiting must possess, and being able to communicate with those who faithfully serve the party is one. Right. Okay, Marsh, we hear you. Hello, good afternoon. Hello?
7701763, is that the number?
Yes, it is. You're on.
All right, good morning.
Morning, sir.
I would like to ask a question. Sandy Grandi had an election
yes.
where they elected somebody as the chairman or mayor of the corporation.
Yes.
And the question is being asked, isn't it the person partner supposed to be the first what, lady or something like that?
Yeah, because that individual is the first citizen of the region.
The first citizen?
Yes.
All right. So the person, that person in question, their wife will be what? The first lady?
Yes, something to that.
So what's going to happen in Sandy Gandhi? I'm watching your face and I see the smile on your face. Maybe you could ask your friend who lives in Sandy Gandhi, he might be able to help you.
I'll ask him.
You will ask him?
I'll ask him.
Yes. Anyway, I know you're laughing. You know who you're talking to. I know, I saw for sure. Bacchanal nice, man. Bacchanal nice. Don't worry. Don't worry. Life has a strange and a funny way.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for being such a wonderful person on these programs.
Thank
I
you.
stopped listening. It's not that I don't listen to 91.9, but somehow I find my information comes over better when I look at the YouTube channel.
Right.
You understand? I'm not saying it's not a good program on the other side.
Yes.
But I think I learned much more from on this side.
Thank you.
And the callers are very enlightening.
Indeed.
Okay, especially Mr. Chance and Yates and them fellas and them. They're good. All right.
Thank you.
But anyway, find out from me now.
I will inquire today.
What we going to do with either the second citizen?
Yeah.
I don't know when we call that person. Enjoy your Sunday.
You too, sir. Hello, good afternoon. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dominic. Yes, man. How are you going?
Hi, good man.
Enjoying your program. You're good editorial.
Thank you.
Dominic, wait. You, Juliet, Pastor Google, really a lot of work out on me. Very hard. But I do agree with your people on Facebook.
Yes.
After coming up with Professor, who will lead the UNC? They have nobody. The so-called lion or a pooch, even Anita Hayes. Well, a lot of fact, those males in the UNC, they are emasculated. All I see in that party now is a sort of tutti frutti, rainbow color, now dominating the party.
Yes.
Right? No Monial, Mr. Sampari, you had high hope for him, he's a waste of time. Dinesh Rambali, that research who was connected to the infamous Mahasabha, no, he's not voted.
Yes.
Anita Hayes, no. Ravi Ratan, hell no. Who was the leader of the party after Khan Prasad is no longer the leader?
Yeah.
With the PNM on the other hand, I have viable leaders. I have Penny, who have people like Foster Cummins, who have Shamsa. I could probably move over 10 people who could fit the PNM. As a matter of fact, that's probably one of the reasons why they're going after Stuart Young.
Yep. Because
people say Stuart to be political leader of the party. He's one of them who stuck to me.
Yes.
So maybe that's why Mr. Munal is trying to damage his image with that so-called gun stubbornness. Another thing too, I noticed I didn't brought it up, but some days ago I saw this so-called 7-day Adventist pastor talking about casino gambling and the government has to move to deal with it. What we're talking about? What was this so-called 7-day pastor when Mr. Mann was trying to move to curb illegal casino gambling here? And why did he invent his anger on the so-called party that started who introduced casino gambling in this country? But then again, I remember he was on our UNC pulpit, so maybe he had short-term memory loss, like all the people in this country have 90 memory loss. He should be the last person to talk about the government should find ways to curb the casino gambling in this country because the things that I say about so-called pastor, and it's hypocrite. You know, watch Cookie Eye. And another thing too, I noticed my PNM people, all the complain about Mr. Balaram Maharaj being the mayor. What is the problem with Mr. Balaram Maharaj? All I see in the bigger pictures is the same shippiness when the PNM decided about Winston Dipsy Peters, not a friend of him, but there's a reason why the PNM went with him. The if I'm not mistaken, the so-called demographic lines in that area changed.
Right.
In the so maybe they decided to put them there. But I wasn't seeing the bigger picture, but I decided to go with Michelle Benjamin. Just like how some earlier decided to go and still retain the unusual population by the UNC. The one at the PNM lost 1 seat. Just like some earlier, give the UNC 2 more seats in San Fernando. Thank goodness they didn't take it. Because they will be gloating already. I can see that already. These are content right now within UNC. They wanted San Fernando bad. And they didn't get it. So they're very upset about it.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we have to look within the PNM itself to find out who these snakes are, because some of them people, they're too damn deceitful. That's how they deal it in Tobago. It's all about the money. And I think this time for balancing to clean out stable. Some of the people, they're not paying, they're only in it for the money. They don't care about the party itself, they're only for the money. I think that Mr. Rowley was very good with Mr. Terry Rondon and to assistant Mr. Rowley yourself. Probably heard that the Senegal region population come back in the fold of the PNM. Or they get them 6 seats. Well, I hope they're happy because they have rainbow people run, because they have rainbow people now leading the Army Corporation.
Yes.
They didn't get just Tony. So they take 25 ticket. You have a good day.
You too.
And I noticed too that they didn't talk about the actual seat that the PNM was in Arima.
Yes.
I didn't take that one to quotas yet. Yes, I noticed that they're very quiet about that. But it's anyone in Lengua last idea. You're still very quiet about that seat at the PNM, but you have a good day.
You too. Jenny, morning. Afternoon, sorry.
Hi, good afternoon, Dominic.
Hi.
You always looking to your program as usual. Facts is what we're treating with. I want to just tell some people that we need to come to this because we are saying this country is operating against any patriotism. We're not coming to independence. And I was on Frederick Street. I saw big people like myself to screaming just to see the march, screaming to see the police motorbike, screaming to see the truck and blow the horn and all that. Especially when you see on social media, warrior, only social media people, we ain't getting to say we talk about our country now. When you see they come like Rick and others on the live or anywhere, misinformation, the truth that prevailing from Dominic and all the others must see the truth, let everybody else go and go at them. Not physically, but typing the truth. Shut them down on social media. Don't give them a chance. The same way if you were to go across on any UNC live or anything, and we put a comment and all of them just come at we on the live. We need to do the same thing with truth. Guys, how we need to treat it. You go anywhere else, you say, Dominic, you see any development happening, take pictures of it, send it to somebody, you'll get it, we'll post it out. Anywhere you go and you see something instructive happening and see one of the debunker.
Hello? Hello? Jen called me back there. I don't know what happened. That's not. Hold on. That's not. Let's see here. Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Romain.
Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Romain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that rainbow is that saying Gandhi, yeah, Dominic, I won't lie. I hope that I only that's what I'm just so I will have a weekend. Anyway, what's gonna happen to all the listeners and the viewers and the bumpkins?
We had asked the same question for Shagona's Borough too, but anyway.
No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, don't leave that alone. Let Kamal deal with that.
And probably Kuva Tabaki tell Borough too. But anyway, go ahead.
Let Kavi deal with that. I able But all I know, the people in Grandy vote for Rainbow, so that they keep a Rainbow in Grandy. Anyway, yes, I must say, nothing new surprises me under the UNC at present. Right? All this talk about Minister Young's firearm and this and that. I want to know who is the black jacket, white jacket in the PNM, right? Leaking information, pertinent information to the UN. How will I know about that information? That's my question. And to the last caller, not this one, the one before, who say about it, this anybody in the PNM, it have a lot of people in that party they need to get rid of. Because going forward, I've been riveted. You know me, I just talk straight. And then, if PNM also win the 2025 election, they need to do some in-house cleaning. Because it have some people in that party needs to either you ship up or you ship out. I mean, you buck up or you ship out, right? Because I find it rather strange that Munilal and them only sticking to that story right through.
Yes.
Is it that I in the grapevine that is I know how true it is that Minister Young is said to be, you know what, of the party?
Yes.
I just heard in the grapevine, right? But I don't know if you try to sully the minister's character by throwing sand in the rice, right?
Yes.
So all I have to say, if we, the PNM, have to fight this election, we have to do some in-house cleaning as well. We have to do some in-house cleaning.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people, they're not truthful to themselves. They're not truthful. As much as the UNC done implode and scatter and who's rainbow and colors and who red and who in compromise the position and all over the place, right? We need to put our house in order to chart our way forward. That is my take on it. We have an election to fight. We have to do what we have to do. Right? Good program, Dominic. I locked on and I listening.
Thank you. Yeah, Jen.
Yeah, Dominic, I don't know what happened just now, but as I was saying, if we truly believe that the People's National Movement is the party that will continue to develop this country under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley or the PNM on a whole, we to do our part. Now it's about what we can do for country. We have a way in this country, especially Caribbean, that we are not proactive at all. We sit back and just wait. We have to get that proactive spirit. We have to start to love. We have to start to let our voices be heard. And we need to show the positive things the People's National Movement is doing and how we can do that. Yes, we'll always hear this conversation about where the social media officer. Let me put that aside now, the time for that done. And with the PR and all that too. You see, we on the ground here, we're looking to all these lives, share and get the information. Let us be the social media officers on the ground. We connected to an internal party. Let us be the social media people on the ground, the PROs on the ground promoting the party so that other people will see and understand what's happening. Don't take the red herring that Munilal is trained on. Because we're here, we have said a lot of stuff on the front end. Nobody in send up reaction protocol letter. And he is saying that in the UNC, there are members of parliament in the UNC and people who have guns also. The same kind of gun like Siotiong or almost like Siotiong. He waiting to see when they themselves will go and gift it back in. They're not saying anything about that, but only focus on Siotiong. Because they want to keep our eyes away from what is really happening. The man behind this whole thing that everybody should be putting the eye on and talking to is the former commissioner of police who had the authority, whatever gun it was that Minister Young have or whoever have, He's the one who signed those FULs because that's the authority. The law says that he has to do it. Why nobody ain't talking about him? But it was instructive. Then he go to court to block the lane of the report from retired Justice Stanley John. What that was done based on the Police Service Commission, I think, asking him to do a report into the granting of FULs. And that report was done. And in that report, it was said that it was a well-oiled criminal enterprise. And when Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley wanted to lay it in Parliament, he says went and stopped, go to court to stop it. So that is the man, everybody has to be talking about CO2 is not the issue. So again, I'm saying, let us work together. Let's have a whole collective team on the ground, on social media, on WhatsApp, on Facebook. Let us start to spread and share the information that others will know. And take pity, send it, and let us flood the place. This is what the government doing. Just how they had the voice paper and they had what the UNC doing. Let us do the same thing because we actually talking the truth. They was lying with a lot of things and was doing it normal. So we had the truth now. We don't want to do it. So people, let us come together and do the right thing. Let us do what we have to do. Thanks, I'm making enjoy the rest of the evening and I'll also look to the truth.
Thanks, Jen. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. Brian.
Good afternoon to you, Dominic.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you, sir?
I am good, and yourself?
About it. So good afternoon to your listeners and callers and viewers. Dominic, I am sick and tired. Sick and tired of these people claiming things that they never did. I mean, the lies are so blatant now that they just don't care. These people lie unashamedly. I mean, it is. I just shake my head every time I hear about this. The Chancery Lane building that the Honorable late great Patrick Manning built in order to prevent the government from renting businesses in the business in San Fernando, which they are still doing. That building was made before 2010. It was for people to begin to move in there. I think there were just one or two minor things that had to be done still. But when we lost the elections of 2010, Kamala Prasad-Bissetta decided, she could make it into a teaching hospital, and she also renovated the top part of the building so that she could go there and rest whenever she was intoxicated. She built a direct escalator straight up to that part of the building, and I saw it, I looked at it. You understand? Today we are still renting houses in San Fernando for government businesses. And that is the issue here. So they never build that. They never build that. But they will continue. And this David Lee, who living in Diego Martin Central, knows absolutely nothing about South. I don't know for what reason he keeps talking about San Fernando. He knows nothing. We have a parking problem in San Fernando because the land is undulated. It's up and down. The people know, those of us who live in San Fernando. And therefore to build the parkade was a blessing in disguise. Because now we have an avenue to park. Even many of us who used to go up to the accident and emergency ward there. A lot of vehicles were normally parked at the side. Now we don't have to park there anymore. We can go straight into the parking. $8 an hour, $8 lousy dollars. Are we complaining? Are they complaining? They complain about Skinner Park. Skinner Park was a mess. Skinner Park was redone. Look at Skinner Park. They didn't want to investigate that too. When they were in office, the majority of them from South, they did absolutely nothing for the people of San Fernando. Or for the people of South, nothing. All they did was extend their own private houses and make it into palaces. That is what they did. They did nothing for people of San Fernando. I challenge you to describe the name one building that they built in San Fernando. They won. Absolutely nothing. I am fed up. David Lee, just keep quiet because you don't know nothing about oil, you know nothing about gas, you know nothing about San Fernando. Because I have never seen you in my community. Never. I've never seen you walk this community. I've never seen you drive through this community. You don't even know where Pleasant Park is. You have an idea. But you don't come here. You really believe people who live in here is PNM. Every election, they don't ever walk in the same, but they drive through with a mic. They don't walk. And I am fed up of them. Jenny is correct. We have to start now to identify all that was done in the last 8 years by the Dr. Rowley regime. We have to. Because they will continue to peddle that Cambridge Analytica stupidity. I listened to this one, Dutton. I think one of your callers spoke about it earlier. Dutton talking about the gambling and betting law should be there because money is being siphoned out of the country. This government bought that and they had to water it up because the UNC refused to support it. Where was Dutton then? Where was Dutton? When they had this woman Gonzalez, every single man up and down, oh God, all these single mothers could lost the job and crying up and down the country. And the UNC refused to support it.
Yes.
Now we're talking about money being siphoned. Where was Dutton? That's UNC. Crap. Where was he? You know, pastor for me. He's anti-PNM, he's anti this government. Now we complain about money being siphoned out. The government bought the legislation and it was up and down every single military day they're complaining. But nothing complaining today, as if we forget. No, we didn't forget. But you see, what happened, Dominic? They lost San Fernando and they see that hurting Kamala Prasad. So she go fire left, right, and center. She don't care.
Yes.
Waiting, Dominic. They lost San Fernando and they see that hurting Kamala Prasad. So she go fire left, right, and center. She don't care.
Yes.
Waiting, that will make news. You think that will be headline news? No, that wouldn't be headline news. Then people will just go easy and quiet, and 2025 will come back and they go vote for the UNC. That is how they are.
Correct.
But when they lost the work, just like that, nobody here complaining. It's quiet, it's easy. They get That is how the UNC is. The lies are being peddled because they have bought out the papers, they have bought out the television, I mean people in television stations, and they will continue to peddle their lies, especially going into 2025. 2025, Dominic, is very significant. We have to stand up and we have to ensure that we do what we need to do to put them exactly where it is, in Winter Wonderland. Dominic, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Fantastic show as always. Thank you. Will you be on Tuesday?
No, Tuesday I'll be in the airport when I should be doing my time.
Oh, you'll be okay. You'll be up. Well, you enjoy your holiday and you take care. All the best.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Dominic.
Yes, sir, greetings.
All right, I was in a conversation this morning. You're always on the ball. There's one they can't be doing the facts and the issues because once it was history and it was there, nobody can dispute it. But Dominic, who was the police commissioner who signed up on Young's firearm, that Sir Young left? Who was in charge of it and saw it to give it to him when we really check on it in law, it's illegal according to what Watchman says. Who was the commissioner of police alignment with the EMBD man? Which I sure he had a report on EMBD at the COP. And who went lineman with him? Who do you think will give Gurilal information to talk about?
Yeah.
You see how dangerous this man was?
Correct.
This man was part of the National Security Council and police commissioner. I have never seen a police commissioner from Boroughs come right back. I was alive when Boroughs was here. That remitted office and behaving in such a manner like that.
Correct.
A man who seems to me has a serious psychological problem because he speaks so much, he's overspeak. Nobody couldn't say anything and criticize him without he lashing out. And Sanche Norman, and say you're a doctor. Shane Mohammed is telling me that Dr. Rowley is where he just talk and Dr. Rowley has the thing and doctorate it was. And them person them see nothing with Gary Griffith. Gary Griffith would have lashed out to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, and I was told that the Prime Minister had called on detail and said, I always stand on him. Because Dr. Rowley may have saw no immediate threat, but as the special branch officer, their job is to protect the Prime Minister. I think he may have looked to provoke something like that to talk on the political, to talk to Dr. Rowley, and that thing it'll be his word against Dr. Rowley. So Dr. Rowley will use wisdom. He didn't come in his immediate space because special branch should have deal with him. But I'm only saying this to Trinidad and Tobago. This is what we want to lead us. This is the kind of attitude that we want. This is the same thing you will see them gangs and them doing.
Yes.
Do we want gangs to lead us? This is how the gangsters operate. So we don't. What is I know we want crime and murder to go down, but we don't want it because we cannot want that to go down and but we encouraging it. Like load up the magic and light them up. You have no respect for the Prime Minister office. You're pushing the Prime Minister for confrontation, like you want to fight with the Prime Minister. And these people are putting themselves forward, and you have fellas like Shane Mohammed and with the next one who that time I am finally get to break his silence. But really then break his silence, he tripped. He can hold back like he didn't even know. He was that what people already knew is UNC, Ralph Maraj. Ralph Maraj had tripped up on the station when he calling us people calling and saying the homes. So if you do agree with Ralph Maraj, you call it a home because once you have disputing what he's saying, you go somehow with a home, a PNM home.
Yes.
Like we attacking him. Ralph Maraj always telling you I just saw the report. I read it from the reporter, but Ralph, did you go and actually think of it? No, I don't think I didn't have time to it. For instance, like the report from the rating company.
Yes.
He did nothing, no research, nothing, but he commented on it. Had it where the other we are wrong, and we all know that. We know that Ralph would have already started commented on how bad the government running the country. But I didn't know, I didn't see the report, and I said I have to look at it, and I haven't seen it, and I think I'll do this. But the other way around, he commented on it. And this is how our country is in this state. Because as we had the opposition supporting the government, we would have seen a dent in the crime. But they don't want that because they fail. Their way of fighting crime was a state of emergency. And for AG to direct the police to lock up people with no evidence. And then you know that. And he would know better because that's the go-for man. That's he's supposed to be the best. In terms of when you deal with this law, the constitutional law, he's the best. But yet still he lock up after the people that had the state paying for them. And I think all these things was calculated, from running the country dry with the help of the central bank governor. All these things was to cause riots and thing and another 1990, 1970, overthrow and just come walls back, swindle themselves back in and as the big savior of the country, but they fail and backfire because that seasoned politician and a politician who is very versed in what he does. He's one of the best politicians I have seen, and I'm telling you, I don't even think this man is still in finish his term yet, and he blew past man in the way how he was in this country and things not being done, because he had little. Then when Manning and all of them had little, and he have done. This man have done so much things. All these things, all these things. Like I remember UNC telling Manning and them, don't build the waterfront for people hungry and all they building waterfront. What they did when they come in, they amplified the waterfront.
Yes.
They had rooms in the Hyatt. The same Hyatt that these people marching up and down, left, right. That's just the money is the thing here. People don't the thing. You're spending money. People hungry. They just use that word too loosely. People hungry, but people still finding money to do all kind of dotishness. And people hungry and the country real bad. And there's nothing happening. But the rating companies and them rating us. Who do I listen to? Who do I listen to? I listen to these naysayers, and then who's there to come back into office? Not the same EMBD man being rid of about is what? Not the EMBD man? That EMBD man name in all kind of choppiness. But Dominic, we have to talk about this because by staying on the fence and allowing them to talk over us and to shut us down without talking and bringing these facts. So I just tell people, always just stick to these facts. Stick to what is factual. And you know what is fact? Fact is actual events. They can't be totally on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, so as I said, we will be definitely the intent is to hit the road. So those ministries that are not, really persons that may not be inclined to go to their websites to look for stuff, the booking will be hitting the road very soon. We'll be bringing you all, we go into the housing developments. So you can see all over the country, we'll take you to the housing developments starting in the east, where that were abandoned by the People's Partnership that started under Mr. Manning. They abandoned it for 5 years, 3 months, and 14 days, allow vandals to steal out everything from the galvanized fence to the fixtures inside the units. Today, those housing units are complete with additions as well, and persons have moved in. So all these people who are now living in these units, building equity by paying a mortgage for 5 years, 3 months, and 14 days under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, they was paying dead money in rent. They could have had, if she had not been wicked and spiteful and done what she and her government had, right? Today, those people could have had at least 5 to 10 years in equity instead of those who only moved in the last couple of years. But we will be taking you all there and giving you the live commentary. Come in. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dominic, good afternoon. Good program.
Yeah, man.
I agree totally with Brian and Jenny. We have to highlight the good things the government has done and keep doing, Dominic. At least we always have money being spent the right way.
Yes.
Not like when the UNC was in government that every day was forced, every day we enforced papers and money missing, who fighting for boards, Right now the government we're under some good governance. We have a transformational leader, as Jenny say,
yes, taking
our country forward. Right? What we have to do, we have to hit the ground and start publicizing good things that happen, what the government is doing, all those programs they put in for the youth to get them on the right track. Also, Dominica was reading with part the Point 40 highway track. Also, Dominica was reading with part the Point 40 highway. Part of it will be opening again.
Yes.
Leading straight down, I think, straight into Point.
Yes.
They'll be using one lane, and there will be more access to the people of Point 40 to travel more easily. So again, the government has been working, right, for us. Even that Point 40 highway, we get back close to $1 billion when they leave out something in the clause with the OAS program. So people, the right government for Trinidad and Tobago is the PNM to take us forward because we are seeing transparency. Our money is not being stolen away and nothing in return. That's why we're in this problem today, because of how they have stolen our money from the Treasury to make the country hard. And the PNM is doing the best, all right? So Dominic, have a nice day. Good program.
You too, sir. Yes, I'm putting my admins on notice. When we come back, we hit on the road, right? We will start the thing. And I know that once Minister Young is available, he too will join us, and we will see who else we could get to join us as well. I saw Ms. Young was in Venezuela a few days ago, again, to try and advance the Dragon gas deal. In fact, I saw the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, actually put up a picture of the two of them on his Instagram page, indicating that it was a fruitful and productive meeting between himself, Stuart Young, and other representatives of Trinidad and Tobago. So while they want to criticize Mr. Young and say, call that program on 91.9 and talk to police about what Young and Rowley do about gas and all of that and gas price, Mr. Young doing his work, going across the pond, he's promoting this endeavor. And as they negotiate and we are able to come to some sort of agreement, hopefully very soon, sooner rather than later, we will see that just come into fruition. I guess David probably out of the country, so his sister. As soon as you mention Venezuela or Maduro, he is called. Mr. Chance, good afternoon.
Yes, nice.
Greeting.
Whatever it is, because I think grandson is young enough that
yes.
Continuing with the work. I just thought I listened all the time. As usual, very instructive, informative.
Yes.
I agree with Brian and Jenny and my friend from San Grande. That's my friend from San Grande, Paul his voice. Yes, that you've got to do that. And I want to tell you, you do not have to wait for bureaucracy to get down on the ground.
Yes.
Okay? Just get things on the ground. You don't have to get the bureaucracy, and you know what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
Move along in housing, in the Ministry of Trade. There are things happening. Yeah, trade, there are a lot of training programs going there. And you move along and get it on the ground, actually happening on the ground. That's an excellent move. And I know Eric is going to play a very important role in that.
Yes.
It's really credit this morning to those. I saw it put up a live inspector pool on the Young Road.
Right.
And so while after the matter was handled and treated with. So and that's the type of work we do. I saw him put up another clip with a hole and Gipping Street at Acarigua.
Yes.
I'm sure that some attention will be paid. And that is what we've got to do. We've got to move there and try to show, because you see, a picture tells 1,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's what we must remember. A picture tells 1,000 words. When people see it, they connect with it. There are three senses that we learn from. The sense of sight, the sense of hearing, and the sense of touch.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three things. I'm giving that as a teacher. Those are the three senses that you connect with.
Yes.
For people to remember things, for people to learn things, but know things. The sense of seeing, so they see it. The sense of hearing it, and the sense of touch, which is called the tactile sense. So you've got to connect with people and put it away. So when you go on here, look here, and you touch it, and you feel it, that's how you try and learn. That's how big people, all people learn through all those senses. I want to congratulate you and direct you to that. And me close by making this point to you that you made it last point. All the colors on top of every item I say this morning. I don't want to remember. I thought you touched something there that is, caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke of the other situation.
Yes.
I want to make this point. People don't live a life without hope, without vision. And the vision from Dr. Rowley and his government is that one day we'll be able to flow, we'll be able to make use of that minefield of gas. Let me tell you people how much gas that we're pursuing there. 2.3 trillion cubic feet of gas. Yeah? Trillion! It's only 10 million and million. I talk about trillion cubic feet of gas and there's more. That is in the track of gas. That is the hope that Dr. Rowley is moving towards. Everything, but the point is, you've got to have that vision of aiming high. In my school, I remember I never forget that. Until you aim high, that's what the Prime Minister is doing. Because he knows that once we get that, our people from whatever stage of life you are, whether you're a pensioner, whether you're a city worker, whether you're a worker, all of us will benefit from the revenue that will be derived have access to that gas. And that is part of the role of our Prime Minister to lead with that vision. Thank you very much for pointing that out. And I want to say to the Minister, pursue that vision.
Yes.
Right? We appreciate all that you're doing, and you want to go with it all might. You have the intelligence, the capacity, you have the legal knowledge, and we certainly God bless as you pursue this vision for the people of Trinidad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Full steam ahead. Full steam ahead. The government will not be distracted by the machinations of the opposition. They could come and talk what about gun and what on. Still don't have time with that. Touch on doing the people's business, laying the foundation. So even if it doesn't happen in this next 2 years, hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Dominic.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I don't know. Dominic, I mean, all the time to refer Laventille. There's a garbage disposal.
Right.
Right? With a, those big, where it's for the garbage in.
Yes.
And I don't know who's in charge of that, but I find that it's very, very untidy. It's in a state. I don't know who's in charge of that part of picking up the garbage, and then it's overflowing all of the road and everything. I wish whoever in charge of that area could do something about that.
Right.
It's rather ridiculous. It's rather ridiculous, Dominic. If you will go into this road, Laventille.
Okay. I'll take note of that.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know if I know who is in charge of that, they can do something and put up some other two bins that when one full, the other one, they could use the other one.
Yes.
But when that overflow all of the streets, that battle is very ridiculous. Okay?
Yes.
I wish you all the best on your vacation.
Thank you.
Okay, and reach home safe.
Thank you.
Okay, Dominic.
I know we have folks listening here who may be affiliated with that regional corporation. I think we need to start doing that too. We will be establishing links with persons in all these regional corporations so we can bring these issues to their attention. So it's either they could provide us with information as to what's the situation, why it hasn't been done, and how soon persons can expect to have it done. Yeah, listen, the party needs help. We can't sit down and wait for the leadership to do everything. We, the foot soldiers, have a responsibility as well to assist the party. So we're still ironing out the final details with respect to, I know a lot of persons would have sent us messages on the WhatsApp that they want to be a part of whatever move established for 2025. So that is still in the works, rest assured. But as I said, as we hit the ground, literally hit the ground, we will let you all know which community we come into. So if you all want to join us, no problem. We'll see who else we can bring along. But the work has to be done. You don't have to be holding an office to do the work affiliated with that office. At the end of the day, we are all PNM social media officers, right? Whatever we could do, what little we could contribute in order to promote the party. So all those who are willfully blind and suffering from deliberate cataract and glaucoma with respect to government achievements, we will open their eyes. Even if they don't want to see, they will hear it. We will make sure they hear it as well. If they continue to want to deny it, that's your problem. But we will no longer allow you all to mislead those who are looking for the information, and because they're not getting it, or they're not listening to the right and the right platform to get the information, you all are allowed to mislead them. That will not be, we will not allow that to continue. Yeah? So, we come in. Wherever it is, we will be there. I hope my admin know we have plenty of work to do. So we need to recruit some more admins. Let's throw in that out there. We see what we have here. Thank you so much, Malka. Right. See. So right. We see. Right. So Valine says, I hope people know we are not targeting UNC voters. We don't have time to waste. I agree with you, Valine. They could see what we're doing, but we don't have time. At the end of the day, yeah, we pass that. We pass that. We acknowledge that some of them are beyond help, and it makes no sense, as they say, stop casting your pearls to swine. As the saying goes, it's no longer our job to wake the sheep. It's time for us to wake the other lions, right? So the sheep, if they want to, they'll continue to eat grass. But the lions, it's time for us to get up and get work to be done. At the end of the day, we were all shouting, the night of election 2025, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we would have prevailed. So folks, let me thank you all for joining me today. It was always a pleasure to chat with you. So I think my next slide most likely will be on probably Thursday morning. But as I said, on Tuesday, I will be in the process of boarding my flight at the time that I would normally do the live. So yeah, so no live on Tuesday, but Thursday, I will make it my duty to wake up early, and we can have a chat and see what developments would have taken place between now And then, so let me go and listen to Munilal, Chopiness. I saw Rhoda Barrett put up just now a news source. They call it waste of time Sunday morning press conference. Like the media get fed up with them. So the media ain't coming to ask no questions, so they put Kirk Mayhew to ask questions. All you ever see fakery in the bakery like that? That is what you call fakery in the bakery. They couldn't even get one journalist, not one journalist to turn up. Oh gosh, well, they couldn't get a big screen and let the people come via Zoom and ask questions. Anyway, people enjoy the rest of your Sunday. All eating the callaloo and the whatnot and whatnot. Let me see what my fridge has for me to toss in the pot. So thank you all so much, and we will chat again when next we chat. I'll be in sunny Florida. So thank you all.